We will go into the newspaper reports that can be found about who witnessed the murder of Dolph Hall, the arrest and first convictions of Troy Triplett, and his escape from the Harlan County Jail and his recapture. There are no public pictures of the people who are spoken of in this story, so we have placed known pictures of Letcher County Court House, and the Kentucky Appellate Court, and the general pictures to help us tell the story. All aboard the Kentucky-Tennessee Living Time Machine as we depart and continue the story of Troy Triplett and Dolph Hall. Please fasten your seatbelts and keep your arms and legs inside of the vehicle at all times. But to get going, we need your help. We still need to fire up that time machine to transport us. Please help us by clicking on the like, subscribe, and bell notification buttons down below. Not only does this fire up the time machine for our flight back in time, but it convinces the YouTube algorithm that we need a bigger vehicle to reach more people who love history as much as you do. Now, back to our story. The shooting of Hall. As we have previously stated, Triplett targeted Hall for being a witness for the prosecution in the Webb case. According to the May 23, 1938 Mountain Eagle, we have the following report. Quote, Triplett murdered Hall by shooting him 3 or 4 times after Triplett encountered Hall and another man, J. H. Addington, as they were walking down the North Fork of the Kentucky River after an afternoon of picking huckleberries. Quote, along the way, Triplett said that he was going to fix Hall and perhaps Addington, and all at once he jerked his pistol and shot 3 times at Addington, unquote. The Eagle reported it in July 22, 1937 edition. Quote, but for a mule on which another friend of Hall and Addington named Aikman was riding, he would have killed Addington as the mule was in between them. Triplett then turned and shot the Hall boy 3 or 4 times. By this time, the Aikman boy and Addington had gotten away. Triplett then shot some 5 or 6 times and turned and went back up the road, telling people that he had killed Hall and Addington's mule. Another man at the scene of the shooting, Homer Rose, was charged with providing the pistol Triplett used. Rose was later convicted of willful murder in the case and sentenced to life in prison, unquote. This recorded testimony will be a point of contention in the Court of Appeals case for Triplett, but it gives us a huge glimpse as to what the events were that happened on the day of Hall's death. It seems that Triplett was waiting on the perfect opportunity to kill Hall. Even though there would be a witness that Triplett would also have to kill, it did not seem to matter to Triplett. Hall was his main target, and anyone else would be collateral damage. Triplett's arrest, escape, capture, and trial. Shortly after the death of Hall, Triplett was arrested and taken to Harlan County Jail. The death of Hall had stirred up a lot of hatred towards Triplett, and the authorities feared a mob justice might be placed against him before he went to trial. But evidently, Triplett had no fear about this whatsoever, as it did not take him long to escape from the Harlan County Jail to run the woods of Letcher County. He was recaptured and brought before the Letcher County Court for trial. This escape is recorded in the May 23, 1938 Mountain Eagle, as we have the following report. Quote, Triplett's trial took place in Whitesburg only 1 week after he was captured, after escaping from the Harlan County Jail, where he had been taken for safekeeping and eluding arrest for a number of days, quote, by roaming the woods of Letcher County, unquote, the Eagle's report said, unquote. According to the Thursday, October 28, 1937 Mountain Eagle, quote, a Letcher County man accused of murdering Dolph Hall near the head of the Kentucky River in July was tried and convicted and sentenced to death in the record time Tuesday. Until last week, the condemned man, Troy Triplett, was also an escapee from the Harlan County Jail, where he had been taken for his own safekeeping. After his capture and return to the Letcher County Jail last week, Triplett decided to plead guilty, after which an attorney was appointed to represent him. After the plea, the prosecution insisted on introducing proof, and a special jury of 12 men was brought into the county to hear the evidence. The jury deliberated the evidence for only 2 minutes before reaching its finding and sentencing Triplett to death. Hall and 2 friends had been out picking huckleberries when they came upon Triplett and home arose. At some point, Triplett began shouting insults at Hall, who had testified against Triplett a year ago when Triplett was tried for the murder of Moses Webb. Rose apparently stopped along the road, but Triplett kept following Hall, and the other 2 men pulled a pistol from his pocket and shot at all 3 of them, wounding only Hall. Triplett becomes only the 2nd man in the history of Letcher County to be sentenced to death. The first was Floyd Frazier, who was hanged on what is now School Hill in Whitesburg in 1910. Triplett was taken by the sheriff's deputy to the state penitentiary at Eddyville to await execution. Unquote. Now, here is the interesting part of all of this. Before this trial, there were 2 things a defendant in a murder case could do. 1, he could plead guilty and was often given a life sentence, which according to the new Kentucky laws would only be about 10 years if the prisoner had good behavior behind bars. Or 2, he could plead innocent and if found guilty would face the death penalty. However, we shall see this did not work in Triplett's favor. When Triplett went to trial, he immediately pleaded guilty to the charge of murder. The evidence that was put before the jury was for the decision of life in prison or the death penalty. After all of the witnesses and evidence was given, it only took 2 minutes for the jury to come back with a verdict of death. We are pretty sure that Triplett was stunned by this turn of events. He would go on to challenge this verdict with a higher court. In next week's video, we will go into the case before the Kentucky Appellate Court and find out if the sentence of death will be commuted to life in prison. Would the points that were made on behalf of Triplett work, or would he be the first man in Letcher County to face the electric chair? Thank you. Kentucky Tennessee Living would like to thank you for watching our video series on the story of Troy Triplett, the bad man of Letcher County. Don't forget to hit that like button, as the more likes we receive, the more likely YouTube is to suggest our videos to other viewers. Also, to receive notice when we upload a new video, be sure to subscribe and click the bell notification button. We thank you for continuing to support Kentucky Tennessee Living as we are discovering the mysteries in Appalachian history.